Welcome to the Happy Hormones Coach podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Self, where we chat all about real life experiences with real women as guest experts and real life solutions to common and not so common struggles that all of us women have, all while keeping it simple. In this podcast, we will be chatting all about hormones and how it relates to everything in women's health: mind, body, soul, fitness, nutrition, relationships, sexual health, and our overall well-being. This really is for the everyday woman, for informing, for community, for inspiration, for uplifting and encouraging messages in all of life's circumstances, from A to Z. This is real, raw, and unapologetic talk about what once was taboo and is sensitive to talk about, but I'm going there. And I hope you find yourself and solutions in this journey with me, where my motto is happy mind, happy body, happy hormones, happy life, and to simply be happy. If you like what you hear and want to work with me, go to thehappyhormonescoach.com and send me a message. Now, let's dive into it. Sit back, relax, grab some tea or coffee, and listen in with me. Hi, and welcome back to the Happy Hormones Coach podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Self. I've had a long, busy, yet fruitful and fun road trip from Oregon to where I'm currently at in Louisiana. There's been a lot of weather changes, but in all honesty, I love the warm weather and I can put up with the humidity. I've missed it since being in Oregon, so this is a pretty good change. But during this trip, I stopped in California for a few days to visit my dad and family, and he had some great input on what he and my sisters would like to hear more of in this podcast. And as you can tell, I love to hear feedback because this is not just for me. I'm speaking to you, and I don't want to only speak to you. I consider all of you a community. You're the hormone hottie community, and so I treat all your feedback and everything as good and positive, and I want to incorporate what you want to hear. So I know my direction and heart for this is to be a community. Like I said, all of you are a community. I love all of you, aka my hormone hotties, and want to give bite-sized information, stories, inspiration, and experience to you through this podcast, and something you can start doing or trying right away in your lives. Mainly to have it be simple so you can be simply happy. But realizing that I can talk about hormones and certain symptoms, diseases, and conditions associated with that hormonal imbalance, I also understand that I do need to go back to basics because a lot of us women aren't being taught or even told exactly what hormones are, what role they play, why are they important to us and our overall health and lifestyle, and what each hormone is, and so on. And I feel led to do a couple episodes devoted to frequently asked questions that I've asked and have been asked myself, so that way the foundation is set and there would be a better understanding for planned future episodes. I hope that's okay with you, and for some this may be redundant, but I'm hoping you stick with me on this, and I'll be doing some bonus episodes each week also. Alright, so let's get back to basics. Who am I? What makes me qualified? To really simply put it, hi, I'm Jennifer Self, married to a man who's in Christian ministry, and we are parents of 2 fur babies. I started this journey as a certified medical assistant of over 2 decades, and still had no understanding of how my own body worked, and especially what a normal period is, and anything about hormones at all, and how it really impacted and affected my life directly. With the history of depression and anxiety going back to childhood, as well as horrible periods and mood swings, I struggled in my marriage and every other area in my world, including infertility. It was in my desperation and lowest point where I reached out to my fertility coach and instructor of the Hormone Puzzle Society, a women's health hub for all things fertility and hormones that she created. And I dove right in, and as you've probably guessed by now, I fell in love with all things hormones. So my background. Here's a little bit of the boring part, but this is my background. I'm a certified medical assistant through AAMA. I'm a certified phlebotomist, certified health coach, certified life coach, certified transformational coach through HCI, certified women's specialist coach, and certified pre and postpartum coach through Girls Gone Strong, and of course, Coach Kayla's program, certified personal trainer and certified group fitness instructor through NASM and AFA, and also a fitness and nutrition expert. Whew, that is a lot of schooling and knowledge, but the thing that makes me qualified is my experience and understanding. You can get knowledge anywhere. It's readily available at our fingertips, especially by Dr. Google. But as we all know, we are so inundated with knowledge everywhere, but there's no application of it to understand or experience what we need to be. That's where I come in as a coach. I work with practitioners and even I refer out. So I collaborate with practitioners when needed to help give clients the full spectrum hands-on experience in their health and lifestyle. I bridge the gap like so many other coaches in all specialties. So that's me in a nutshell. Now I wanted to talk about some of our happy hormones in this frequently asked questions series. And today I'm starting with my favorite hormone, oxytocin. As you all know, I post a lot on this. I'm boosting my oxytocin vibes, things like that. And now we'll kind of dive into that a little bit on today's episode. It's my favorite because anytime I can boost my oxytocin levels, it's my pleasure. No, really, it is a pleasure. And that's why it's the number one on my list to start with. Well, let's go back for a second and give a definition of what hormones are overall. Okay, so I'm going to read exactly what I took from Kids Health so as to give the simplistic way of understanding what hormones are. All right, in quotation marks, hormones are chemical substances that act like messenger molecules in the body. After being made in one part of the body, they travel to other parts of the body where they help control how cells and organs do their work. For example, insulin. Not many know this, but it's a hormone, and that's made by the beta cells in the pancreas. So hormones have a huge role in every aspect of our life and health. And at the heart of me being a women's specialty coach, I'm a life coach at heart. That will always be my primary thing because I love to inspire, love to help, but really it all comes back to hormones. So yeah, that's why I love it so much and I want to talk about it. All right, so what is oxytocin and how can you boost it? So oxytocin is also known as the bonding hormone. It is released into the bloodstream as a response to love and in labor. It helps with birth, milk production, and bonding with your baby postpartum. It does play a role in reproduction, childbirth, social bonding, and your period postpartum. So it plays a huge role in so many other things as we'll find out. But to be a little more clinical, let's just kind of geek out a little bit because this is what I love and this is a background and you should know it. It is produced by the hypothalamus and released by the pituitary gland and metabolized by the liver. All right, I know that's a lot. But that's why it's so important to do gentle detoxes or cleanses every so often to nurture our liver from excess hormones. More on that in a future episode and what you can do. And it's also excreted by the kidneys. So it's very, very important to stay hydrated, get sleep, because that plays a huge role in detoxing our body naturally from excess hormones that can accumulate. And just a little tidbit also I want to throw in. Men have it good. They renew their hormones every 24 hours, whereas us women, we renew our hormones every 30 days. So we do go through a full cycle, and there's different phases of the month that makes up one menstrual cycle or one cycle in a female. So really when you have your period, it will tell you if your hormones are balanced, if you've been good, things like that. It's really your body's report card of how it's been. So if your hormones are out of balance, we're out of balance, anything like that, it'll tell you by the heavy periods, the cramping, things like that. And of course, if you have any underlying diseases or diagnosis with that, that can be a consideration also. But your period really is a female's report card. And so you really go off that to tell you about your hormones. So again, women's hormones, they basically they reset every 30 days, whereas men's, they reset every 24 hours. So I just want to throw that in to give you a little bit of background. So more on the oxytocin. Now, there's been studies shown that oxytocin, when released into the brain of a female during sexual relations, really of any kind, is important for forming a bond in her partner, as well as with dogs. Now, this is what I loved. Studies showed that the oxytocin levels in humans and in dogs have rose between 5 to 24 minutes after petting. So when you cuddle and you love your doggies, like I love to do every morning, that is a boundary for me that I have to set. It's a must do. Then we instantly boost our oxytocin levels naturally, which is always a good thing. Sets the mood. And I love that because I know my fur babies and I get to boost our bonding every day, and it definitely makes us happy. And it also increases our positive attitude. It rises during sexual stimulation, again, of any form on any part of your body. And it also rises with orgasm as well. And it produces antidepressant effects. So no wonder why it's a happy hormone, right? I mean, who doesn't want that? There's so much we can talk about with this, and it will only help you to do what you can each day to boost it naturally. And why wouldn't you want to? You can do what fills up your joy tank. Practice self-care, and it's good for your overall well-being. So what can you do today to start boosting it naturally? Well, some suggestions, simple suggestions you can do is give and receive hugs, kisses, love on your pets, take walks, dance, laugh, exercise, sing and listen to music. That's one of my favorites, especially when I'm cleaning or in the shower. Basically, do what brings you joy, and even better, do it with a partner. So the answer is really bonding, connecting authentically with others, show kindness, and smile. But what I really want to point out, and I can't stress this enough, ladies, is that humans and animals alike were not meant to be alone. And when I say that, I'm meaning touch, I'm meaning connection, communication, intimacy, and not just the sexual kind, but intimacy and connection with one another. Last year, and still in some places now, there's isolation and distance. So many youths and elderly have been deeply impacted by this, and it's wrong on all levels in my professional and personal opinion. There's been so many suicides and depression during that time that no one seems to talk about. But mental health and wellness has declined in huge numbers, and it's because our nature is to be connected, in person, in community, and to be touched. So please remember, be kind, share a hug. Like really, it's okay. Share a hug, hold someone's hand, open the door for somebody, get back out to your community and friends again. Be social, please. I can't stress that enough. We as humans need that touch. We need that connection. This is not just, for us to be social and get out again. And it's really for our hormones. As I pointed out with the oxytocin, you can boost it naturally. You can take medication for it, but we don't want to do that. We want to boost it naturally. And that's what this podcast is about. That's what this episode is about, is how to boost it naturally. And I'm telling you, just get out, be social, have fun, fill your joy tank, do what brings you happiness, and be kind. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode. It was a fun one, and I geek out over all this. So I hope you stayed with me, and I hope it blesses you like it did me. Stay tuned for part 2 in this series of frequently asked questions, a continuation of some of the happy hormones out there. Hey, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I loved making it. Remember to subscribe. Oh, and sharing is caring. So if you know that woman who could benefit from this, please share and leave a review. It would mean the world to me to get this message out and start changing women's lives like never before. Interested in how you can work with me directly? Go to thehappyhormonescoach.com and send me a message. I can't wait to hear from you. As always, be simply happy and have a happy mind, happy body, happy hormones, and happy life.